Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It's Football Friday, one of the biggest slates of the season. College football playoffs round one is here. NFL matchups are here, joined by my good friend and co-host Dan. Dan, let's run through the lineup. Who we got today?
The absolutely loaded show. I mean, are the round one games that exciting? Maybe not, but they're exciting that they're here. And we have a couple that we're going to be talking about. Alabama and Oklahoma. This is one that we've had some nice data to draw on. Teddy Covers going to be breaking that down for us. He's also going to talk Packers and Bears. Marco D'Angelo, he's going to come a little saucy. As you know, he'll talk wing sauce of the week. In addition to Miami taking on Texas A&M, do we have a barking dog in that one? And then his Steelers Lions, we'll get his take on his Steelers that somehow are they going to be snatching defeat from the jaws of victory as far as the division is concerned. But Andy, what do we do every Friday? We lead it off with our man, the myth, the legend, the Gianni, the Greek gambler. That's right. Gianni in the house, man. And you have to be busy as hell this Friday. We were doing our pre-show meeting here. Teddy even in the back end getting excited. And we all just saw there was a different look in your eye this morning, Gianni. You have to be firing like crazy, brother.
Yeah, there's some just bad lines, man. This early in the morning, I couldn't believe it. That's what I was just telling Teddy. A guy was 1.5 points off market on the total. How could I not punish him? Win or lose, I got to place that bet. It's just a bad number. And it's just that time of year, coming off a nice winning night. We cashed 2 of our 3 football bets, hit the NFL, hit the Arkansas State side, lost on that total. That was the only loser. So we're rolling into the weekend off some winners, which is always good. It's all about football. I didn't even put out a steam sheet today because there's just nothing really to talk about in baskets. I'll just tell you real quickly, it's been the public that's firing. And in NBA, they're on Oklahoma City, the Spurs, and the Knicks. That's the parlay. That's the teaser. You're seeing Oklahoma City, Spurs, Knicks, Oklahoma City, Knicks, Oklahoma City, Spurs. In one of those 3 ways, they're betting it with the overs in San Antonio and over in Oklahoma City. So rest assured, any line movement there has been public money related. And like they've been doing in the NBA of late, don't be surprised if the public moves these lines too much. The sharps will come in and sweep up some of the value on the other side. They already did. They took the points with Philadelphia over the Knicks. In college basketball, no sexy games, really. We didn't even fire, anything that I would release to subscribers. It's kind of more some totals that they got out ahead of that you're starting to see. If you look at the odds logic screen, it's probably lighting up right now. But it's all about football. It's all about football with the playoffs starting and what we have tomorrow, Sunday, like next week with the Christmas holiday. It's all about football, man. That's again, the other markets all give us some value because of all the attention on the football. But with such an influx of recreational bettors, that's where the money is right now to be made in the bowls and in the NFL over the next 10 days.
Yanni, do we learn anything from the game last night, such as don't overreact to the wind?
Yeah, you can't. I had Seattle. I like the Seattle side. I'm not going to adjust my power ratings at all. Rams are still the number 1 power rated team in the NFL. It finished exactly the way it should. Random, overtime. One team wins by 1. He couldn't script it any better. We talked about it leading into that game. These 2 teams are a mirror image of each other stat-wise, with the differentiator being strength of schedule, which the Rams had the more respectable strength of schedule. But then you got to factor in home field advantage for Seattle, which made it an absolute coin flip. And that's what it came down to, man. So, yeah, it was just one of those games like we talked about. It was good to be a bookie, able to just sweep up all that vig because there was good 2-way action. So I didn't learn anything, just that the power ratings played out well. And we are looking at the number 1 and number 2 teams in the NFL right now. Hard to argue that. And followed by Detroit, Buffalo, Green Bay. It's all NFC. The only AFC team in the top 5 is Buffalo. Like Houston's near there. Kansas City's near there. Baltimore's near there, but the rest is It's all NFC, man. You're talking Philly, Green Bay, Detroit, Seattle, San Francisco, all NFC teams top power rated right now.
Titans, shout out Titans. Greek, any thought on Pats +3 Ravens? This is the most curious line of the week for me personally. I'll go over why I like the Pats +3 in my pick 5. I don't understand the line, and I'm here to be a big loser here on this.
No, here's the thing. It's all comes down to, you got to remember, when it comes to the NFL, just like with college football, the marquee, the sports books aren't really worried that much about what the narrative is. Their goal is to put out the number based on their power rating. And right now, what we're looking at is Baltimore ahead of New England, even though the records wouldn't reflect that. And the reason is this, like, the numbers don't lie. New England has arguably the easiest schedule in the NFL, number 32, okay? And yet, when you look at them offensively and defense, they're only 15th. Like, they're not 12th, 10th, 8th in any of the metrics that really matter to me, offensively or defensively. Like, they're right there, mid-range. With a 32nd strength of schedule and an 11-3 record, you should be top 5, if not at least top 10 in some of those. And here's what I mean. Rams, number 1 in offensive efficiency, number 6 in defensive efficiency, with the hardest strength of schedule in all of the NFL. That's what a power-rated team looks like. Seattle, number 4 offense, number 6 defense, 14th strength of schedule. And then you look at a team like Buffalo with a real easy strength of schedule, the 23rd. But look at their stats. They're 3rd offensively. Like, when you have an easy strength of schedule, that's what you should get. With New England, we're not getting that. That's why the Sharps fading New England, but they're winning games. That's the disconnect. But there's a lot of randomness to one-score football games. The plus side for New England is it's the NFL. It's a short season. The long term usually doesn't get here a lot. We don't have a big sample size. So they could continue to win football games, even though, they may be underperforming against the betting market, because that's the bottom line. Like, New England's an 11-3 team, and they're barely, a game above 500 ATS because of that. Like, they're not winning with margin. Obviously, here, they don't have to do that. They just have to not lose by more than a field goal, and they're going to be motivated. They're coming off a loss against Buffalo. Only thing on deck is the Jets. Yes, it's a divisional game, but it's still the Jets, followed by Miami. So this is their big game. Even though Baltimore's only 7-7, this is a big game for them. So yeah, they're going to get their full attention. And then you have the Ravens. They're coming off a nice win at Cincinnati, shut Cincinnati out. But yeah, listen, it's going to stay on 3. I don't think this line's going to move off of 3. Right now, the early risk seems to be a little more on the New England side because they're the 11-3 side, but I think that'll start to balance out and you'll get, good two-way action. I don't, listen, if you like New England, it's hard to argue. Again, they're an 11-3 team catching points, and Buffalo's putting themselves in must-win situations more or less every week, and that's not a good position to be in. If you're in a must-win, you must not be all that good. That's the question mark, but on paper, Baltimore is legit. And as long as they have their QB healthy, this is a top 10 team power rating wise for sure, even at 7-7. Like, they'd be favored on a neutral over Denver, which is 12-2. Just power rating wise. Again, not saying that's what the books would do, because the book's job is to manage risk, not to predict outcomes. But if they had a neutral field and Denver was the favorite, which they would make them the favorite because that's what the public would expect, the Sharps would come in and take the dog because their numbers would reflect Baltimore is the value side. Because on paper, again, top 10 offense, top 10 defense, respectable strength of schedule. Not to tell it's, again, not respectable. It's not even mid-range. But their stats are legit considering, the quarterback situation they've dealt with this year. So it's going to be interesting Sunday night.
Yeah, I want to get to this Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua fight before we do that. The the books are in a precarious situation. We'll talk about that. But before we let you go and before we get to that, bowls. What are we seeing action on bowls because we got a huge weekend of bowl games?
Oh yeah. I'll just go into the yesterday's theme sheet because again, today didn't have it. Not enough information out there to share. Here's some of the stuff that is in there for the upcoming bowl games. Oh, this one's today. Memphis +6, +5.5. That number is gone. Obviously, we're on the Memphis side. My subscribers are down at +6, I believe, for 4%. Miami +4.5. I heard you're going to be talking about that with Marco against Texas A&M. Miami got sharp money as well. Central Michigan +12.5. New Mexico +3.5 and 3. Again, keep in mind, as the guys that get the steam sheet have seen, I have come in and put the opposite side days later. That's why I leave the play still in there, because this lets you see the manipulation happening in real time. We saw that with Arkansas State yesterday, where we had Missouri State up there earlier in the week. And then I came in, noted like we're 3, 4, 5Xing it on the Arkansas State side. So keep your eye out for that if you got a steam sheet earlier in the week. Oklahoma +2, +1.5. That's today also. We talked about that a lot. That was the first playoff game that got hit against Alabama. Hawaii +3, +2.5 against Cal. I kind of disagree now that it's at a pick 'em. Clemson -3, and Pitt +4.5. So there's a ton of college football action for you over the next 10 days or so.
All right, let's talk this Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul fight. All the recreational bettors are on Jake Paul at this
They're
point.
all They're on Paul. They're on Paul. And I'll tell you right now, my main guy, East Coast dude, bets a lot of money. That's why he reached out to me right now and asked me if I could find him Joshua via KO, TKO, DQ. He's willing to lay up to -380, 76,000 to win 20,000 is what he's willing to lay. So he wants me to try to get him down 76 dimes between now and that fight. That Joshua does it inside the distance. It's the guy that had like 6 figures on Mayweather against McGregor. That's the kind of guys that are going to come in on the Joshua side. Everyone else is going to be on the Paul side. And it's okay. Paul could go out there and win this fight. Like, again, it's boxing. It's a fight. Anything could happen when you're talking about power, big men, landing flush. Anything can happen. But value-wise, the sharp bettors see that you're talking about 2 different class of athlete when it comes to boxers. One took up the sport. The other one is the sport. Like, that has been his thing his whole life. This is who he is. And we're going to find out what happens with Jake Paul when he steps up into that class. Like, this could be a big fight for Jake Paul if he lasts. Like, he doesn't have to win this fight to get credibility. He just can't let a Francis Ngannou moment happen. That's why this total's so low, where, he goes in there and looks like he has no business being across the ring from a real boxer. That can't happen. If that happens, all the legacy, all this nonsense we've witnessed for the last 2 or 3 years is all laughed at. But if he goes in there and he fights and puts in up a fight, considering the experience differences, then I think he gets his just respect that he's looking for. And I think that's why he's taking this fight. Besides the money, he already has money. But it's this chance for him to actually get his name recognized without any, negativity from the combat sports that he's always going to get. Like, you go in there and you put up the night, bro, it's over. No one's going to talk shit about he's the YouTuber, the Mickey Mouse, that kind of nonsense. It's like, all right, this guy, he's a fighter. He's a fighter. But that's not going to happen, dude. Joshua's just too skilled. Like, if he was going in there with a puncher, I'd say yeah, but he's going in there with a boxer. That's just going to outclass him. That's the difference. Go in there with a puncher, I'd say you got a shot. Just don't get hit flush early. But against a boxer, I think he's just going to be too. I don't think he's going to be able to land anything big on Joshua. That's the problem.
These fights can be really, really hard because they're 2-minute rounds. I don't want to say it's a gimmick, but it's a gimmick fight.
It's a gimmick.
I mean, my God,
I can't. Can you tell your subscribers to lay 1,000 to win 100 on Joshua? I can't. And I like it. And I'm thinking it's a 10% ROI.
Yeah.
I can bet it myself. I can bet it myself. That's
Exactly.
the thing.
Exactly.
Guys, this is multiple people that have asked in the chat, including David Tokarski, he's one of our guys who won a 3 free-day flex pass. People are going to have a chance to do that coming up here and sell me. But a lot of folks here in the chat are just talking about over rounds. So that's kind of tying into what you're talking about, Gianni, right there is, can Jake Paul hold his own and have this not be finished? Any thoughts for either of you guys? I guess we'll start with you, Gianni, on the over here for 2.5 rounds. It seems like everybody's tying that in. This person needs betting over 2.5, and then Joshua to get the win. What do we think about any round betting?
I don't like it. It's fishy to me. That's the problem. If you look at the recency of Jake Paul, even with like Mike Tyson, like those weren't quick fights. That's the problem I have. And this total, though, you're seeing a lot of money on the over. It was 2.5 at Bet Online. Now it's 3.5 with the over juice. I mean, now they're juicing the under a little bit. But though they moved it from 2.5 to 3.5. So there's a lot of over money. It just looks too easy to me. That's the problem. You have like the 2-minute rounds, anything that looks like that easy. I just stay away. And knowing that someone that I really respect likes Joshua to do it inside the distance, finishes. Here's the difference. That's the problem. In MMA, I would say no. You go strictly under because finishes happen early. With every passing round, the probability of a finish gets cut in half. But in boxing, it's kind of different because of the gloves, because of the 2-minute rounds. They systematically break their opponent down. You don't really get that one-shot knockout as much. That's where I'm struggling with that. So if you guys like the over, bet it. I'm not on the under. I'm telling you that. But it's just a little fishy to me. I would think the over would be minus 200. You know what I mean? Like,
really?
And it's just not juiced enough for my liking at 2.5. Yeah, because you're saying he's got to last 5 minutes. That's it, right? 5 minutes. Just don't get knocked out for 5 minutes.
Can I throw a conspiracy theory here at you?
All right.
Hit it.
A draw?
No.
No.
DraftKings has a boost on Anthony Joshua to win in rounds 1 or 2. And Gianni, those are the kiss of death. When you see it, DraftKings on the front page of DraftKings, where they're like, bet this.
Come on in.
Come on.
Bet over
this.
the lock. So over
giving
the
away
lock.
money.
Over it is. Whoever's asked in the chart, over it is. And Dave Mason moved it from 2.5 to 3.5. So over it is, bro. And maybe that is what's going to happen. Mayweather played with McGregor for a little bit.
I could see that completely being the script.
Yeah, where Joshua just sees what he has.
Yeah, if you want to put the tinfoil hat on even more, Gianni said it. Everybody knows it. Like, what's Jake Paul trying to get out of this fight? It's trying to be taken a little bit more legitimate than, you're fighting jobbers. It's everybody just get a purse. So how does he do that? He hangs around for a couple rounds, or it goes to decision, even better. So if we're tinfoil hatting this thing, that is.
Dude, he's going to be able to say, only my 10th, 12th, 15th professional fight, I went toe-to-toe with an Olympic gold medalist, former world champion of the world. I'm legit. So I think if you like the Paul side, you got to sprinkle a little something with the over. I think it's correlated.
100%.
We did a good amount on this fight, but if you want a really deep dive from one of the best boxing handicappers out there, Kevin Dolan. Yes, the Irish
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
We got a video on the channel. There's a video on the channel right now where you can get a full breakdown from a guy who handicaps boxing, low-level fights, top-level fights. If you want a great boxing breakdown, it's on the channel right now. Check out Kevin Dolan's breakdown on this fight there, Andy.
Gianni, what do you have up for clients on this Friday?
I got the package for today's has 3 college football plays in it, 2 4% and a 3%. The Memphis game and tonight's Oklahoma-Alabama game is in there. I have Saturday college football bowl package up. Sunday NFL going for the 3rd straight 5% winner there. Number 1 in NFL profit regular season. Number 1 in college football profit overall. So we're going to close strong 2025, and 2026 is going to be unbelievable. Jump on board for the next couple weeks. We're going to have a lot of fun. And don't forget, I'll have my NFL package for tomorrow too. Just confirm Saturday games. So good couple days to do some damage. Best of luck to all. Stay safe. Get your holiday shopping out of the way and do some damage.
Thank you so much, Gianni. Have a great weekend. We'll catch up on Monday. It's a really, really good segment from Gianni. Speaking of boxing, we do have, Dan, we have our boxing pack that is up. About 6 weeks ago, we decided to start putting in our boxing plays. We're 4-1. We're pretty low volume, but we have 2 plays tonight. We do have a play on that Joshua Paul fight, and we've got the strongest play is on one of the prelims, and that's where we can do all the damages. These fights that people really aren't talking about. That's where the best lines are. So, excuse me. Yeah, we have a boxing pack up, and 5% NFL play just went up. Nice cash last night. We had plus money on Matt Stafford, go over 1.5 touchdown passes. I don't want to say easy cash, but Dan, we talked about it. People were overblowing the wind.
No Devontae Adams. How is he going to score a touchdown? It's windy, Andy. There was about actually, they just scored another touchdown.
Right. Right. So yeah, anytime we get overreactions from the weather, we're going to take advantage of that. So 5% NFL play went up. Boxing pack is up. So very, very excited about tonight and this weekend. All right, let's bring in Teddy Covers. We got to talk some Alabama, Oklahoma. We got to talk some Packers and Bears. We got to do Sell Me. But Teddy, real quick, I always bounce some NBA off you, and you did what experts do. You faded the Knicks coming off of the NBA Cup against my Pacers, and it was perfect. You cashed a bet. My Pacers lost. We're improving our draft position. But I do want to get your take on the Knicks and the Spurs, the NBA Cup teams. I can't put the Spurs as legit title contenders. The West is just too strong for me, but I think this Knicks team has a real chance. What's your take moving forward on these 2 teams coming out of the NBA Cup?
So in a 7-game series, I don't think either one of the 2 teams will beat Oklahoma City. Certainly not a healthy Oklahoma City. That being said, in the Western Conference, I think San Antonio is the team that can give the Thunder the biggest battle. We saw that in the NBA Cup. My clients and I can't take it with the Spurs as double-digit dogs to OKC. They're deep, they have veteran talent, and they're really good. Don't underestimate San Antonio. And in the Western Conference, it has Houston, it has Denver, obviously has other, and has the Lakers as other legit contenders. San Antonio is in that group as a team that could come out of the West and could beat OKC. As for the East, I mean, there's no one good in the East. It just leaves the Knicks very live. And the Knicks' depth, why did Tibbs get fired? Why did Tom Thibodeau get fired? Because he wouldn't develop the Knicks' bench. This year, the rotation's going 11, 12 deep on a night-in, night-out basis. They're deep. That makes them a better regular season team, and that could pay real dividends in the postseason as well.
There's a scenario where the Knicks are just the healthiest team going into the finals. And what if the Western Conference champ just goes through this rock fight of a series and 7 games? I mean, you could have 2 brutal series in a row for whoever comes out of the West. I expected to be the Thunder, but I was just kind of going over that. Like, what if the Knicks are oddly the healthiest team going into the finals if they waltz through the East?
Well, when we look at the other Eastern Conference contenders, there's nobody right now. I mean,
None.
We'll see what Orlando looks like in May. We'll see what Boston looks like, or Detroit. I mean, Detroit, from a power rating standpoint, is the only Eastern Conference team I have near the Knicks right now. That said, in the postseason, I don't look at the Pistons as a team ready to go to the finals yet, whereas the Knicks have been dancing around it, and they're the favorites come out of the East for good reason.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Cleveland obviously is struggling in every way. I mean, the Cavs right now are awful.
I was going to say R.I.P. to my over wins total on the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, who knows what's going on with them. All right, let's talk some football. We're going to college football playoff. We got Alabama, Oklahoma. Interesting game. I don't know. Do any of these teams put a lot of confidence in you to bet on? How do we break down this game? I think the books are kind of telling us a story with the line here. Over-unders at 41. Pretty low total. How do you break down Alabama and Oklahoma?
So one of the benefits of watching WagerTalk Today each and every day is you get free client plays. You're going to get a free client play for me in the NFL. We're going to get a free client play for me in college football. And that would be on this game. My clients and I, well, let's save it and make you guys watch my analysis. But This is a big deal in Norman, you think? They canceled all classes on Friday, including final exams. Right? The whole day is football and pageantry in Norman. That being said, the ticket prices have been plummeting, which is something of a concern. And we talk about the home field edge. I mean, Oklahoma lost to Ole Miss on this field this year. They had 2 home losses last year. Obviously, in the playoffs, we saw all 4 home teams winning by double digits and covering the point spread a year ago at this time. But I'm not convinced that is something. I'm not afraid to take a road team, even though the home teams obviously dominated last year in this spot. If we see 2 years of that, maybe we'll talk about it. But I'm not afraid to take a road team in this matchup. Now, we do have a regular season rematch. Oklahoma went into Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama 23-21. Now, when you talk about what actually happened in that game, let's see. OU started the game with a pick 6 by Eli Bowen. Then Bama fumbled a punt return that set up a short field for Oklahoma to get a score. Then Bama had a field goal blocked on the last play of the first half, a real deflator right before halftime. They still put together 3 long touchdown drives versus this, storied Sooners defense. They took the lead, but oops, they fumbled the football, set up a Sooners field goal after another short drive. Bama got sacked on their final drive, set up a 3rd and 21, ended up losing by 2. That said, yardage, Bama 416 to 212. They outgained them almost 2-1. First downs, 23-12, Alabama. They first down them almost 2-1. Turnovers, Bama 3, Oklahoma 0. If that happens again, Bama's not going to win. Bama's not going to cover. I'm not convinced, however, that'll happen again. And again, Bama with the -3 turnovers still almost won the game. Now, Alabama did not look good on offense down the stretch. The Auburn game wasn't pretty. Georgia in the SEC title game was even worse. But Ty Simpson was really banged up. And from all reports, they're saying that Simpson is close to or at 100% right now. Bama as a team looks pretty healthy for this playoff run. Oklahoma's defense was so good down the stretch, they were unable to win their last 2 games and even cover a point spread, despite the offense only scoring 17 points both times. John Mateer wasn't healthy either down the stretch. I'm not convinced he's healthy now. I'm not convinced he's the better of these 2 quarterbacks. And even though Oklahoma's defense has put up some pretty impressive numbers, I'm really not convinced that's the better of these 2 defenses either. Client play, Bama plus the points. I'm interested in the Crimson Tide on Friday night.
Oh, all right. I like it. Yeah, these quarterbacks. I was listening to a podcast and he was like, something's up with Alabama. I don't know what's going on with Alabama. What's going on with the coaching? But I think that's when you have that narrative. Yeah, it's time to ride with Alabama.
Let me jump in on the coaching for Alabama with Kalen DeBoer's name being thrown out for this job and thrown out for that job, the Michigan job. None of that came from Alabama. That's all reporters who need to have a story in an hour. And okay, Google, AI. Kalen DeBoer. None of that in my mind is real. That's all chirping and noise. It's not. Kalen DeBoer says 1 foot out the door. You get the freaking Alabama job. What job's better than that?
Hard to disagree there. It's what you got to do at this time of year. It's all stories. It's all getting people to click and continue to read. That's the nature of the beast. Teddy, we got Sell Me coming up, but we can't bury the lead in the fact that you mentioned we have another client play that we're going to be getting for free on the show. Well done by Chris Allen, the schedule maker, deciding he was going to get Teddy to give away 2 free plays here. You have some thoughts here in the Green Bay Packers and Chicago Bears game. This is one that I've kind of found hard to figure out. This is an interesting spot where they have played now. It's going to be the twice in these 3-week stretch for both of these teams here. What are we thinking? Packers and Bears, this game a Saturday action, Teddy.
So this is really a fascinating game. And of course, looking at the Odds Logic live odds screen right now, I'm seeing Chicago -1.5. There are Chicago -2s out there. Total of 46.5. For the Bears and the Packers in this short turnaround rematch between these 2 teams. And the injury report for Green Bay after the blown lead loss at Denver last week, at first glance, was pretty ugly. Obviously, you lose Micah Parsons. That matters. Micah Parsons, an impact player. Christian Watson got hurt in that ballgame. He's the guy that takes the top off the defense. looked bad. Now it doesn't look quite as bad. Still don't know yet if he's going to play for the Packers in this ballgame. But from an injury standpoint, they lost 2 stars in that ballgame and blew a big lead. And a lot of it was red zone. Denver went 4-4 in the red zone. Green Bay went 1-4 in the red zone. And obviously this game likely to determine who's going to win this division. If the Packers win, they're in position to having swept the series and now moving a half game ahead of the Bears. It's the Packers division to lose. Likewise, if Chicago wins, Green Bay no longer has a tiebreaker edge, and they've got a 1.5 game lead in the division. So there's certainly urgency for the Packers. Matt LaFleur, after the loss last week, I told the guys, no one's going to feel sorry for us. Everyone's going to have to elevate their play. Chicago coming off a nice win over Cleveland, in which they weren't really tested. The Browns held to 9 first downs. But make no mistake about it, the Bears defense is changing the game week in, week out. They had 3 more takeaways last week. League leading 30 takeaways for the Chicago Bears defense. That and Caleb Williams' improvement is the story of Chicago's season. That being said, initially, the injury report for Green Bay looked ugly. Now that we're 24 hours or, the kickoff is tomorrow, all of a sudden it's the Bears injury report that looks ugly. All right. Chicago is going to be without 2 of their top wide receivers. All right. They're not going to have Romeo Dunze. They're not going to have Luther Burton. And without that duo, it's DJ Moore and what? Devin Duvernay, Johnny Walker. This is not a scenario where the Bears are going to come in with anything resembling a healthy receiving core. Mm-hmm. So Ben Johnson's certainly the type of coach who's gotten teams, in Detroit. He got lots of production out of, let's call them the second-tier receivers. But this is not a scary group of wide receivers right now without Odunze and Burton. I worry about the Bears' ability to throw the football down the field in this ballgame. And it's also worth noting that for Green Bay, Parsons goes on injury reserve, but Cox Jr. and Oliver, 2 guys, who in theory are going to be able to take some of the pressure off the defensive line. Both those guys, reinforcements, were full participants in practice this week. Josh Jacobs may end up suiting up, and Watson may end up suiting up for the more experienced of these 2 teams. The team that's played very well coming off a loss this season. And the Packers are the way to go at the plus price and or plus the points. No argument here with Green Bay. I've got them in my pocket, and I've advised my client to make that same bet.
Teddy, we got Ethan saying he thinks they're going to lose on Saturday. Is Chicago? Are they in jeopardy of missing out on the playoffs? If it's, that's the thought for Ethan. This sounds like maybe he's a Chicago fan who's a little bit jilted right now. Is what that reads to me, Teddy.
So somebody good is going to miss the playoffs in the NFC
because the NFC is just so top heavy.
You look right now, Detroit is the team that's on the outside looking in from this Packers, Bears, Lions trio. Will that be the case 3 weeks from now? I think the Lions are still very live to make the postseason. So that leaves room for one of these teams, Bears or Packers, to have a bit of a late season meltdown.
All right, guys, sell me time. I'm tired of talking about all these good football teams. Let's talk about some disgustingness. I was doing it. I know Marco's probably back there throwing some Tums and some antacid in. He's saying, Dan, there's all these great NFL games, all these great calls, and we're talking Jets and Saints. I'm sorry, Marco. I hope you have that air freshener ready. That's what we're doing here, guys. I mean, here's the funny thing, too, is if you're saying, this game, it's a joke. Why? There's all these great games on the board. Well, 15 out of the 32 NFL teams this year, guys, have losing records. So if you only want good teams, the pickings are a little bit slim here. But the thought for me, as I preface this one, guys, this line has just gotten a little bit out of control. So, Teddy, you're going to be letting us know the New York Jets, who are now 6.5 in some spots, 6.5 point underdogs in some spots on the road. This just seems like a little bit too much. But Andy, Tyler Shaw and the New Orleans Saints, Are they rolling? Because they're 6.5-point favorites now. Teddy, you got the dog, but first, Andy, this favorite that was around a 2.5, 3-point favorite that's now a 6.5-point favorite, you got to sell me on that side. New Orleans Saints, Andy.
Okay, New Orleans Saints. Yeah, listen, they're rolling. They've won 2 in a row against the 2 best teams in their division, the Buccaneers and the Panthers. Nothing to shuck your head at there, Dan. And sorry, this is really bad. This is a New York Jets team. Their defense has single-handedly changed fantasy football leagues and champions. This team gave up a record number of points to Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne. Before that, they gave up 34 points to the Dolphins. This defense has completely mailed it in. I have a Jets fan in my life who actually said with a straight face that he thought Brady Cook looked pretty decent last week. I said, when did he look good? On his first, his second, or his third interception? The man didn't get to 200 yards passing. Their leading rusher was Isaiah Davis with 9 carries. Breece Hall averaged 1.9 yards per carry. I think the Saints have found their quarterback. This is weird to say, but I think they have a little bit of momentum. Tyler Shuck, I think, has this job, and I don't think they're going to be drafting a quarterback. This is a team that's playing a little loose. And this is a Jets team that is just a perennial disaster. Who knows what they're going to do at the quarterback, but all I know is this is a defense that has given up 82 points the last 2 weeks. When you give up 82 points and you only score 36.5, it's a little drop in the bucket. A touchdown, yeah, this is no problem for the Saints.
All right, Teddy, New York Jets. Well, the Jets' rush defense specifically is historically bad. However, no Alvin Kamara likely, no Devin Neal as he's on the IR. So you got Evan Hull and Audric Estime. Could that be the factor that keeps the Jets alive? Teddy, sell me on this New York Jets side. I'm sorry, buddy.
Did Lang just say, oh, no problem for the Saints to cover a touchdown? Saints cover a touchdown, no problem?
No problem.
Every handicap, for me, this is the way I start. You start with the favorite, all right? Does the favorite merit this point spread range? All right. This is a Saints team with a rookie quarterback coming off back-to-back December division wins as underdog, as fat and happy as they get. All right. They've won, 4 games this season? This isn't a let's lay points with them kind of team. This isn't when we lay points with them, I'm super confident the Saints are going to win games by margin kind of team. Yes, the Jets are rough, but the Jets are not the team that has to win this game by margin. The Saints are the team that has to win this game by margin, and they were I cashed ticket with them last week. All right, we're running good in the NFL. I didn't consider New Orleans. You like to ride these teams. And I'm like, I can't lay it. At 4, I'm like, maybe. As soon as I got to 4.5, I'm like, I can't lay it. At 6, 6.5, 7, not a chance. Jets are live.
It's gotten a little bit out of control, says Teddy Covers, as he had to try and sell you on the New York Jets side. We're going to grade it at 6, guys. Since there's some 6s, there's 6.5. We'll grade this one at 6. We'll call it that. And comment below and let us know. Comment below Teddy and your WagerTalk username, or comment below Andy and your WagerTalk username. Have that be the side that you think is going to cover. Your guy wins. Your guy covers. Win doesn't matter. $9.99. If that's your, we love that one. But comment below, and then you have a chance here to win a free 3-day flex pass that you can use here at WagerTalk.com. But to be entered, you got to let us know who's covering, who you're riding with, and your WagerTalk username. No entries without a WagerTalk username count. Teddy, people with a WagerTalk username, they can head on over to wt.buzz/TC to see what Teddy has cooking, and what are they going to find over there, brother?
So we're running good right now. It's been a great couple of weeks. 67% all sports run, 3-0 sweep last night. NFL 7-1 with the last 8. And admittedly, I have no freaking I watched the game and I still don't know how I cashed with Seattle last night. Well, I can't punt return was how we cashed. And a missed field goal and multiple 2-point conversions being good. But I don't mind running lucky. Running good in NFL, running good in NBA, running good across sports. Get on board right now. Visit my homepage, wt.buzz/TC. We got Weekend Warrior football passes. We got weekend 3-day hoops passes. We got the 10 days for $9 a day. I mean, good deals right now. Let's get on board and check out the homepage, wt.buzz/TC, or just visit the website, wagertalk.com.
You love to see it. Big thanks. Teddy covers. wt.buzz/TC is where you can find him. And again, guys, comment after the video goes live. Andy and your WagerTalk username, or Teddy and your WagerTalk username. Your side covers. You're entered to win there big. All right, I'm going to bring in Marco D'Angelo, and then I'm going to hide because I know he's like, what the hell are we doing? Saints, like at least Marco with the Sell Me segment, you never have to be worried about, the opening act being worse than what is to follow, because I always head in with a stinker for you, brother. How you doing, Marco?
Doing good. Thanks to Chris. I mean, he gave me the Steelers in Detroit, a good game to break down. Saved me having to talk about Green Bay and Chicago, because we know how that's worked out when we've talked Chicago games on Bet On It, Dan. So appreciate that from Chris. But yeah, that was that was an interesting breakdown of those two teams.
What we got to do
this time of the season, and this is the fun time of the season when you get to those final few games where teams, you're trying to break down analysis. Do they want to win? Do they want to not win to protect their draft, status where they're at? And then throw in weather conditions on the East Coast games. It's a fun time to be looking at trash games. So thanks for not including me in that.
I mean, about the condemned deli better than anybody. So stinky games just as good as anyone. A little cheese sandwich there. All right, Marco, you alluded to it there. So let's start with this NFL game, and then we'll talk college football. And then, of course, we got Wing Sauce of the Week. We got so much more to come, and we're already 42 minutes in. So why don't you lead us off here with the Steelers, your Steelers, taking on the Detroit Lions. And this one's up to 7, Marco.
Yeah, they've won 2 games in a row, and everybody's starting to sip the Kool-Aid again after the fire Tomlin chants 3 weeks ago. But, guys, I'm going to put the stop sign out, the warning sign. This is a bad matchup for Pittsburgh for several reasons. One, they're coming off a short week. They played on Monday Night Football, kept Tomlin's record alive on Monday Night Football. This team never loses at home on Monday Night Football, but they're traveling to Detroit this week, okay? They're not playing a gutless, heartless, warm weather team playing in the cold, all right? They're going to be playing indoors against an offense on a fast track, just a bad scheduling spot for them in that situation. Also throw in the fact that you've got Detroit in a must-win situation. And I know we generally do not like to take teams in must-win situations because we always say if you're in a must-win situation, you must not have got the job done somewhere earlier in the season that you're still in a must-win. But this is a Detroit team that's a good team. They've played a tough schedule. They've played a lot of good teams, and it's just a spot where they're just on the outside looking in. But for Pittsburgh, winning on Monday night, what people don't realize is mentally this guarantees Pittsburgh that no matter what happens in the next 2 weeks, at worst, when they play Baltimore on the final game of the season, that would be for the division. So even if Pittsburgh loses this week and loses next week, they still can win the division on the final Sunday of the season. That is very important because if you look at the 2 games that they have before they play Baltimore, they play Detroit this week on the road on a short week, and they play Cleveland the following week. If they're going to try to win a game before the Baltimore game and shut Baltimore out, it's not this one. To me, this is almost a throwaway game for Pittsburgh. And before you get excited about that defense that's looked good the last 2 weeks, I alluded to Miami was the most lifeless team I ever seen play a football game on Monday night. They didn't want to be there. They had no drive, no fight, nothing. So throw that completely out. And you go 2 back to the Baltimore game. I'm a Steeler fan. They should have lost that game. Baltimore dominated the game. They had over 100 yards more. They had a touchdown taken off the board that I still say, even being a Pittsburgh fan, was a Baltimore touchdown. They're going to get ripped by this Detroit offense. Go ahead and lay the points with Detroit. Look at Detroit if you want to look at a team total as well. I think this is going to be Katie Bar, the door game for the Lions. They're just going to go from pillar to post. And if you look at the streak that Detroit's on, last 10 weeks, win, lose, win, lose, win, lose the whole way. Guess what? They're coming off a loss. You know what that means this week. Lay it with the Lions.
Marco, you said something that cracked me up. You said before you get excited about the Steelers defense. Dan, raise your hand if you were excited about the Steelers defense.
Hands not going up. Yeah. It's Jekyll and Hyde for them, man. Jekyll and Hyde.
All right, Marco, let's talk college football. Miami, Texas A&M. I'm interested in your take because I think this Miami team actually has some bite to them. Just throw it out there. 7-1, 6.5-1 to make it to the Final Four. I'm just throwing that out there. Texas A&M -3, over, under 48. What do you make of this game?
Well, you start off, we look at the two quarterbacks in this game, and if you look at their stats for this year, it's like looking at right into a mirror. They're mirror images of each other. They both had 25 TDs and 10 interceptions. But what I'm going to look at is going into this game and being in a playoff game, I've got to give Carson Beck for Miami the nod over Marcel Reed, just because Carson Beck, when the times that he was at Georgia, he had more of the big game experience. So that's going to be a huge edge, I feel, for Miami in this game. Another edge is I like the defense of Miami. And I know the ACC got ripped this year, okay? Everybody said how soft it was and the fiasco that you ended up with Virginia and Duke in the ACC championship game. But defensively, only one team all year scored more than 24 points on Miami. That team was SMU, and it took overtime to get over 24 points. It was 20-20 at the end of regulation, and SMU ended up winning 26-20. Texas A&M defensively, they're not as good as Miami. Miami held 8 of its 12 opponents to under 100 yards rushing. I think that's key because if A&M if they can slow down the A&M running game and make them have to pass the football more, again, that's where the experience is going to come in with the difference in the quarterbacks. In Texas A&M, over the last 6 games, they allowed 200 yards on the ground, 200 or more yards on the ground in 3 of the 6. Arkansas, Missouri, and Texas all dominated them on the ground. And really, we should say last 5 games because one of those games, A&M had a little sister of the poor team that they scheduled at the end of the season for like a in-season bye week. I just think Miami had to listen to the last 2 weeks, the chatter that did they belong? Did Notre Dame belong? Which one of them belonged? You know what? The ACC has only themselves to blame because everybody says, well, Miami didn't even make their conference championship game. It's because the ACC are idiots, all right? You had 5 teams tied for second place. In your idiotic tiebreaker system, put in a 7-5 Duke team over a 10-2 nationally ranked Miami team. How they were not in the ACC championship game is beyond me. And if they were in the ACC championship game and would have won the ACC championship game, they would be at home in a big favorite in their first round game. That's how good Miami is. I'm going to go ahead and take Miami plus the points here. Give me the better defense. Give me the more experienced big game quarterback. And you're going to give me 3.5 points. Sign me up, guys. Miami plus the points.
I love it. Love it. Yes. The Little Sisters of the Poor team, Marco. That was Samford, I believe it was. Yes. I'm looking at Samford's record. This is a team that got beat 40-13 by the Citadel. This is a team that got boat raced off the field by West Georgia. Not the Georgia, West Georgia. So very, very well done by you. I'm with you. Let's go Miami in a little, of course, sprinkle the money line there. All right, wing sauce of the week. Before we do wing sauce of the week, tell everyone what you have up at Wager Talk.
Well, guys, we did it last week. We were running a promotion over on our Bet On It show, and a big response to both VR and myself. So we're coming back with it this week. We've extended the offer. You guys that watch these shows, we appreciate you watching all the shows we do at Wager Talk TV. You can get a special. It's not on the website. If you go try to find it, it's hidden. But we'll give you the secret link to get it. Go wt.buzz/Marco365. You can pick up, instead of 365-day package of all of my plays, for $19.99, you can get it for $11.88 if you go to that link. Guys, we've been absolutely rolling. We've been on a 7-week roll this season with all sports. We're like 77 and 50 to be exact, plus $7,400 or 74 units, however you want to keep score. It's been a tremendous year for us. We're cashing in all sports. We did have Seattle last night. That one was very interesting. We had Seattle on the money line, and that's why I have no hair, guys. It's games like that, but it was fun to watch. So head on over if you want to join me. You like the way I handicap games and break them down for you here. You'll get a lot more of that with a full season subscription.
All right, Marco, it's time to have some wings. I had some wings last night, actually.
What flavor?
I just went hot. There's a place that does. I've talked about how gross happy hour is here in Indiana. How the bars and restaurants don't get it. There's a place they start their happy hour at 9:30 at night, but they that's like. But I was coming home late, and I was like, oh, I can actually stop in and get their wings. So I just got their hot wings. They're delicious. What wing sauce are we going with this week?
All right, we're gonna do it, and this is in honor of your man, Andy. Phillip Rivers. Okay, come
yes.
on. We have 44 years old. Okay. What he did last week is just short of remarkable. He didn't lose the game. Okay. He didn't win it, but he didn't lose it. He had them in position with the lead late. I had no dog in the fight. For my clients, we did give out the under, I actually believe it was on this show last week. And I was rooting so hard for them to win that game. I wanted to see them, win it. What he did, and let's give him credit. Now, everybody talked about he stopped the clock. He reset his Hall of Fame clock another 5 years. And they said, was it really worth doing that? And he said that never crossed his mind. But you know what else he reset the clock on? If you got 10 kids, health insurance is pretty expensive. He's reset the clock now for another 5 years on health insurance for the kids. That's pretty good. So that's a nice little bonus too. But in honor of what he did coming off the couch, 5 years. And I know Joe Flacco come off the couch a few years back, but he was only out of football for that season, not 5 years removed. I got to give him honor, credit, whatever. He's an NC State quarterback. So let's go to the state of Carolina. Let's go with the basic, simple, what you can count for. And that was the game plan last week. Pretty simple, but he ran it well and it tasted good. How about some just sweet Carolina barbecue?
Oh,
yes, please.
It's a good comparison.
Yes,
yeah,
please.
I'm so in. I have some in my fridge right now, and it sounds delicious. It looked like Phil Rivers has been enjoying some of the Carolina barbecue.
You're not wrong. I was like, is that one of those flak jacket things? I couldn't tell which was which.
No, that was all Phil. That was all
Philly.
Mr. Rivers.
The one that was rough, guys, was when he fell down on the play, had to get up, and then he fell down again. Like, that's where I was like, this is kind of elderly abuse. Like having to see him get up without using his hands. It was rough to watch. It was rough to watch.
You could have mailed a letter faster than it would have.
Not saying that I'm any
up.
pinnacle of fitness, Andy. But I'm just saying.
You're also not quarterback of an NFL team that we don't expect.
I could be if Phillip Rivers can be at this point. I mean, holy shit.
All right, Marco. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Have
Marco.
a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
All right. Good luck, guys.
All right, Dan. We're going to go to WTF LFG.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We're going to go all around the world. And we're going to go to the pick 5. Guys, please hit the like button. It's Football Friday. We've earned your like. Come on. We've earned your like.
Seriously.
And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that now. Just do it now. All right.
Yeah.
Dan.
It doesn't take much. You got, almost 2,000 people watching live. So, folks, if you haven't already, hit that like button and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. All right, Andy, we started 0-2 on the WTF, the LFG. This is where I give Andy one bet. It can be any sport. It can be a prop. Andy lets me know if he's tailing or if he's fading, and you let us know in the comments as well. Started 0-2, Andy. 5 straight winners. So we're 5-2 here in the segment. And I'm going to give a shout out to one of our guys here who hopped in the chat earlier this week, because he's the one who put me on to this play. It was AWB who was asking about some NLL action. Ooh, this was one that we were going to give to Andy's clients. We're going to give it out here free in WTF or LFG. I like this one enough that it should be a client play. We're taking the Las Vegas Desert Dogs against the Ottawa Black Bears. We're going over 22.5. And I know you guys don't care about NLL handicaps, so that is what the play is. Look, unders hitting at 67%. That means regression to the mean is coming. I think it comes in this game. In Ottawa's 2 games played this year, Andy, 48 total goals scored. They could hit the over by themselves. I think Las Vegas can contribute enough to go over 22.5. This game goes Saturday night. I don't even have to ask, Andy. I know this one's an LFG, baby.
This is an LFG. Bad goaltending and bad defense is hard to get better. So it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a while. So if they're bad, they're probably going to be bad for a few more weeks. So let's go LFG on the over.
Over in 22.5. And again, you can find that under the National Lacrosse League tab on basically every sports book. So there you go, Andy. And so I gave my play. How about you give some plays? All around the world time, buddy. What do we got?
All right, we're going to start. This is all NFL. We're going to go to the Bears-Packers. I'm going to take Kyle Monangai over 11.5 rush attempts. DeAndre Swift is banged up. He's dealing with a groin injury. Even if Swift plays, he might be limited. And Monangai, 11-plus carries in 4 straight. That's with Swift in the lineup. This is a Bears team that has fully embraced the running game. They're a running team, and Monangai's been a big, big part of that. So we just need Swift to take a little bit of a back seat on a few plays, and Monangai should get over this one. Chiefs, Titans, Rashee Rice, under 5.5 receptions. They're putting this line, Dan, like Patrick Mahomes is playing, and he's not. Gardner Minshew is playing. Gardner Minshew is playing. Rashee Rice has had the drops all season. He's taken some big, big hits. There's little to no motivation for this Chiefs team. It's unders galore on this Chiefs team. And then let's go Cam Little over 1.5 field goals. Jags, Broncos. Over in 5 out of 7 games. But here's the key. This Broncos defense is really good. They keep people out of the end zone, which creates more field goals. They give up 2.3 made field goals per game. So you take field goal kickers to go over this 1.5 against the Broncos. So we're going Kyle Monangai over his attempts. Rashee Rice under his receptions. Cam Little over field goals. Yes, and Titan says, Cam Little got a boot. Yeah, he's got a leg. This was the guy that hit the 70-yarder in preseason. So
can confirm bootage. Yes.
All right, let's do the pick 5. 2 and 3 for me last week, I believe.
Yep. Me too.
Again, I'm nowhere close near the lead, but but I'm like hitting like 55%. Like this is a good record for actual betting.
A terrific record.
But nowhere near cashing.
Dude, that's the thing with these contests. There's no possible way that we can catch the leader either. This potato commish guy who was leading in the Circa Millions contest, just blown it away. That's the thing with this contest is you can have a great 55%, 60% year. If you don't catch a horseshoe up your ass and get lucky, Andy, it's not
18
happening
weeks.
as far as winning
For
these
18
contests.
weeks.
Yeah.
It's not just 1 week. It's all 18 weeks.
Yeah, and obviously I'm not saying that the people who win aren't good, but there is a handicapping and luck factor to it, especially when you're talking about these kind of contests. Picking 5 NFL sides a week, dude, is tough. You're hitting 55%. You take that as the win. You know what I mean?
Yes. All right. I'm going Dolphins plus the points for Bengals. 2 bad teams. I actually think the Dolphins have a little bit more motivation. We know Joe Burrow doesn't have any motivation. This poor guy looks like a shell of himself. Tua gets benched. So you got Quinn Ewers coming in. And I kind of want to support this Dolphins team who they're going to play till the final snap because they want to see what they have in Ewers. So they're going to run the ball a lot. They're going to let him throw. +4, too many points. And I believe that's in Miami. So
Yep.
The heat in December doesn't bode well for some of these northern teams. Chargers +2 at Cowboys. Again, here's a Cowboys team that doesn't have much motivation. Chargers do. So this offensive line for the Chargers is in shambles. Speaking of shambles, Justin Herbert's non-throwing hand is in shambles, but +2 points at a Cowboys team that isn't playing for much. I'll take that. The Saints, I do love the Saints, and I got 4.5 on this one in the contest. So I went over why I like the Saints. This Jets team is horrendous. Dan, I've been fading the Raiders, and they can't put this line high enough. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. 14, sign me up. This team lost 31-0, and now they get an injured. They were like, Geno Smith's been cleared. He's going to play. It's against the Texans. Have fun against that defense. And then the Patriots +3 versus the Ravens. I know the power ratings, and I know the Patriots' schedule's been bad. Something's wrong with Lamar. He's really injured. This is one of those things when the season gets over and it's like Lamar undergoes surgery to repair like 3 things. I don't necessarily believe in the talk about Harbaugh on the hot seat, but there is talk about it. There's something off about this Ravens team. So I don't know if the Patriots win, but I certainly don't want to be laying points on the Ravens. So those are my 5.
Yeah, and for me with that Ravens game, I'm kind of looking at it more from the let the line lead the way perspective, Andy. I like the play there. I wrote New York Knicks on my one, so I'll have to correct that one in the New Orleans game because I'm going with the New York Jets, but they might as well be the New York Knicks. There's a world, Andy, where the 5.5 5-point win for New Orleans, and we both win that one. So why not? We'll middle that one. I don't think New Orleans should be a 5.5 point, 6-point favorite to anyone. Even the fact with how well they're playing, it's just crazy to me. And that Baltimore game, it's just a case where, if New England is so good, if they are a top team in the NFL and Baltimore really is struggling all that much, I get it that they're at home, but there isn't this, we give home teams 3 points for being at home anymore. Like the power ratings, Gianni kind of alluded to it. Baltimore is a respected team, and it's something that I kind of agree with. Also, Lamar Jackson, as far as the straight up number goes, month of December and onward, 23-5 straight up. So could Lamar Jackson, who hasn't really been Lamar, find something in a bottle? That's the way that I'm looking at that one. Another one where Atlanta should be road chalk versus no one. Give me the 3 points with Arizona. And we talked about with Marco, like what teams do at this time of year. Wouldn't it be the most Arizona Cardinals thing in the world to win this game outright so that Atlanta leaps them in the draft pick category? It just feels too crazy to me. Also, against the NFC South, this is a team that Arizona and John Gannon have matched up well against. 7-2 against the spread run. I'm with you on Miami. One thing I'll add in Miami, you mentioned how Miami is the home team, obviously, that heat in Cincinnati. Miami doesn't travel to Cincinnati well, and Cincinnati doesn't travel to Miami well. No matter who's the players, no matter who's the coaches, the host in this series is on a 7-0 against the spread run. So who's ever hosting, and typically you're going to be having the home team as the favorite. We're getting points. I don't care if it's Quinn or Ewers. We shouldn't have road chalk here. And then Old Man Rivers, I'm sorry, buddy. San Francisco.
I'm proud of you for this play. Yeah.
Especially, I know this is chalky, but it's around 6.5 in some spots. I'm fine laying under a touchdown. San Francisco, especially with that loss for the Rams last night, they will be dialed in. And Andy, at this point in the season, this just feels like two teams going opposite directions. So San Francisco minus the 5.5. And yes, we're taking the New York Knicks plus 5.5 against the New Orleans Saints there. So how about that one, Andy? That's my pick 5. Me and Adam Rosenberg are going to be breaking them down in just a few minutes right here on the channel. Not live, but you can find our Circa Let's Make Millions show. We've been hitting around that same mark as Andy, around 53, 54%, coming off a 2-3 week.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Football Friday is done. 5% NFL best bet. Boxing pack is up. We got 2 plays to cash in on boxing tonight. One of them is in the Joshua Paul fight, and then we got one that I just love that is in the prelims. We're 4-1 since we started putting in boxing plays. So big weekend. That's over at wt.buzz/AL. Thank you guys. Great job, chat. Great job, guests. It's an absolutely fantastic show. Next week, big week, Dan. Not because it's Christmas. It's my birthday.
When's your birthday, Andy?
My birthday is December 23rd. And for what it's worth, one of the more depressing things that happens on my birthday is, for whatever reason, my birthday is not in the WagerTalk system. So whenever someone has a birthday in the company Slack, everybody says happy birthday. On December 23rd, nobody says happy birthday.
We're making sure. Let's make this the biggest birthday yet for Andy Lang. Well, we got your back here on WagerTalk today, Andy. Don't you worry. And programming note, guys, only 2 shows next week. We may be back on Friday, so maybe 3 shows. We're going to talk with Andy, see what we're going to do here. But we certainly are off on Christmas Eve, certainly off on Christmas. One of the only days that we get off here. So maybe I should have said it a little different way there, but we're getting off next week, Andy. We're getting off. This does it for the Football Friday edition. Always a good time, buddy. Best of luck this weekend, man.
Have a big weekend, guys. Good luck on all your bets. We'll see everyone Monday. Take care.